How likely is a recession in 2020? This is the question of the hour. It's on everyone's mind. Hi, I'm Heather Witte, owner of the Witte Group. We need to remember that next year is a presidential election year, and it could be one of the most controversial elections yet. There's going to be a lot of questions and political debates about the health of our economy. Why is it so good? And fear over whether our economy is going to decline. So this can stir up a lot of hype. There have been 4 major surveys so far this year alone asking experts if they believe we are going to see a recession. 67% do believe that we should see a recession by 2020. 𝘍𝘀𝘾𝙀𝙎𝑎𝑎𝑠 surveyed analysts, and 59 of those believe that we will see a recession by 2020. Why do we think this is? Well, we've been in the longest recovery in American history, so we should expect to see a bit of a slowdown. The GDP will slow down, but let's look at Merriam-Webster Dictionary's definition of a recession. A period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in GDP, gross domestic product, in 2 successive quarters. We need to remember that recession does not mean housing crisis. In fact, in 3 of the last 5 recessions, housing prices actually increased during the recession. Now, obviously 2008 was the most drastic in recent history. Now, in the same survey from ~𝘍𝘀𝘾𝙀𝘎𝑎𝑠 that asked if they anticipated a recession, they also asked the same analysts on the same day in the exact same survey what would trigger the recession. Number 1 was trade policy, number 2 was stock market, and number 3 was geological crisis. Number 9 on their list of triggers was housing slowdown. In 2008, our largest decline in appreciation was due to a housing slowdown and the situation created by the mortgage industry. This year, we're not even in the top 8. Also, in the same survey on the same day, they asked what about median appreciation of housing. All of the analysts said that the housing prices are going to go up, not down. Appreciation is going to slow down, but the prices are expected to go up from about 2.5% to 4.1% through 2023. Why is this important to know? Well, we don't want to get in a panic about buying and selling and become afraid that it will be like 2008 all over again. In fact, Morgan Housel, a well-renowned financial analyst, said an interesting thing is that the widespread assumption that the next recession will be as bad as 2008. Now, it's natural to think that way, but statistically, highly unlikely. It could be over before you even realized it began. At least that's what he thinks. Prices and appreciation are expected to just be more normalized. Don't let all the hype about the recession scare you from the dream and benefits of home ownership. In my opinion, it's one of the very best investments you can make. According to Mark Fleming, First American's chief economist, he says if the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage declines just a fraction more, consumer house buying power would reach its highest level in almost 20 years. So what does that tell us? It tells us not to be so caught up with all the hype. Make the move. And as always, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Heather Witte, owner of the Witte Group, your best real estate move. Take care.